You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, November 2nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
You're local mortgage experts. It is a great day to talk about money, and that's what the show is all about. How to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com, and we can connect you with the guests that we have on the show today. In studio, our first guest, welcoming back Kim Fraser of John L. Scott, How to Successfully Market Your Home for Sale to Maximize Exposure. Kim, thank you so much for coming back in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and a little bit about Kim. Kim Fraser is a realtor with John L. Scott, Bellevue Main office. As a top producing realtor since 2002, Kim has sold over 1,100 homes in primarily King and Pierce counties. Kim has been recently recognized in the top 1% of realtors with John L. Scott, Washington State, as well as the entire U.S. Kim and her team offer a comprehensive marketing plan and full service and representation. Feel free to reach out to Kim if you are looking to buy or sell in Western Washington.
Kim, let's talk about why somebody would want to take the time to interview several agents as opposed to just kind of jumping in the pot. I know people just kind of hop online and grab somebody, and there's a lot of great agents out there, especially you. Why would they want to do that?
Well, I think it's important there are a lot of different agents and different companies and other different services that are included. Some you pay more for, some you pay less for. You have discount brokerages that take a little bit bigger piece of the pie these days. You've got iBuyer options. There are just a lot of options these days for consumers. I think it's important. I offer full service to my clients, so we invest a lot of money and time into marketing our clients' properties. I have friends who are in the business that do a lot more minimal, getting them in. And I interviewed with a couple last week, and the commission structure was very fair, probably a little bit less than what actual market would be. And they, I think, still had a little sticker shock, even though Mike was much more competitive. And I encouraged them, for what we were offering. I said, interview some other agents, see what other companies offer, and then come back to me. We can have another conversation. But I think it's important because there are so many. Some agents do a lot, and some agents do very little. And so it's important to get the best value and the best fit for you on your property.
Yeah, great advice, Kim. And you know that you are one of the best if you're advising your clients to be talking with multiple agents before they hire you. Kim, what about reviews and the importance of reviews and why that's so important to take a look at reviews before hiring your agent?
Well, I think it's good. You want to, number one, you want to hire someone that you can relate to and you have a good rapport with. There are a lot of different personality types out there. I have more of a type A personality, and I'm kind of a chameleon where I can, interact with a lot of different types of people. But occasionally, you're going to have personalities that are going to kind of not mesh, and it's good. You want to find someone that you mesh with, but someone who has a proven track record of results. And we were all new agents at one point, and I think obviously the more experience you have, the stronger. Not that new agents aren't strong. I mean, I felt like I was a good agent when I was a new agent.
Likewise.
However, it's just there's some learning curves there, but it's important to get somebody who's got maybe some experience in the neighborhood that you live in. You don't want somebody who's never sold a home, like maybe in your neighborhood. So I think referrals are important for that. To kind of get somebody who you're going to mesh with and someone that you can call and kind of bounce some questions off of.
Yeah.
Kim, you mentioned about marketing, and that's so important, obviously, when you're listing a home or selling a home. Why is it important to set a marketing timeline?
Well, I think it's even more important today. The market's shifted in the last couple of years. So the expectations, so many of my sellers are in a 2015, 2016 mindset where they list their house, especially in the east side in Seattle, and you get multiple offers and it's 20% above list price and it's all cash and they live in Shanghai. That's not the case anymore. And so we have a huge, about 50% reduction in foreign investment year over year. The Chinese government's cracked down a ton. So those of us in the Seattle and East Side market, Most of my buyers are not from abroad. I would say 40 to 50% of them a couple years ago were.
Yeah.
So that has had a huge impact on the upper end luxury in the east side primarily. So it's creating longer market times. Normally you'd list a house on a Thursday and we'd have 10 offers on Saturday and half of them cash, and which is not good in the mortgage business because then we weren't financing anything back then.
That's no fun.
No, you'd make 10 pre-approval letters and no one would get a house. So because they were all cash buyers. But so with that being said, with that segment being pulled out, we're seeing, 30 and 60-day market times on the east side. So people would, as agents, you like to see a 106-month listing agreement. A lot of people would be like, well, let's do 60 days or 90 days. Well, if the house is going to sell in 4 days, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But now if we have 60 to 90-day market times and people sometimes have the expectation that their house is going to sell for multiple offers, and it takes a while. There's an education process. So if you have a 60 or 75-day market time, you need longer than a 90-day contract. So that 180 days, I think, should be pretty standard, especially the, maybe more crowded the market is in that marketplace. You might just want to prepare yourself. It's not uncommon now to have 60 to 90-day market times.
Yeah, make sure that you're asking your agent for that data, because as a seller, you can know exactly what's going on in the market, and you can be prepared. Instead of, a lot of times sellers are not getting the data, their agents aren't sharing it because they're not asking for it, whatever the reason is, and they're feeling, why is this happening? And so get the data. You can know exactly what's going on in the market right now today when you're selling. So let's talk about, Kim, first steps to preparing to put your home on the market. What would those be?
Absolutely. So you want your house to show in its best light day one, be market ready. So decluttering, making sure your house, shows well. You don't have a lot of excess stuff. You don't want to look like a hoarder when people show up to the house. One of the services I offer my clients, I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up 50 or 100 boxes and drop them off,
Nice.
I'm like, try to help them out a little bit, get ahead of the game. You want your landscaping to kind of pop when they walk up. Curb appeal is huge. You want them to feel like they want to walk through the front door of your home. Smelling good, not smelling like pets, have candles on, lights on, fresh coat of paint, painting your trim, painting your front door, inexpensive things that'll make a difference. Making sure it's deep. There's some deep cleaning going on. I've had some clients where there were some sketchy bathrooms, and that never shows well. Definitely. We also offer like complimentary cleaning prior to listing for my clients. We come in and do a deep clean. I don't personally. We hire someone to come in and do deep clean just to kind of take that pressure off the client.
Well, emotionally, when you're in the subconscious, maybe even, you're just thinking, wow, if they can't keep the bathrooms clean, this is a big item that could have issues if they're not maintaining and taking care of that.
Absolutely.
And as a human being, you get a feeling when you get into places.
Exactly.
If the landscape's great and
thing.
the smells, the crispness of it, it's a feeling that you have. And if you feel good about it, then you're probably going to be more likely to put an offer in, right?
One time I was showing a house and there was a pile of garbage in the garage, like heaped to the ceiling. But before that, I'd been trying not to touch anything with my hands. And so I had my jacket pulled over my hands and I was flipping the light switches with my jacket. And my client was like, I saw that. So I was like, sorry. I was like, this isn't the house for you. So I was afraid to touch anything.
Just being real, it's kind of dirty.
Yep, it's gross.
So with that being said, why is it so important to stage your home prior to listing it?
Well, you want people to envision themselves living in the property. So you want to take down your personal items, personal effects. I had a client one time, if we ever talked about this before, they like nude statues everywhere. Pictures, statues. I walked in and fairly new agent, less than a year in the business. I'm like, how do I address this?
Awkward.
But yeah, really. I'm like, can we put a dress on her? So, so after a few, I try to delicately let them know. So it's important to have, some people are very large connoisseurs of art and nude art. That's important to take that down as well as your personal family photos.
Yeah.
Because you never know. I mean, the one person came in and they were very, very religious and they were very offended, and the wife did not make it through the front door. The husband ran through really fast, but so you want to, so that's part of the depersonalization. And I know
it's a challenging conversation sometimes for you as an agent to be able to, you have to get into people's personal life and say, hey, I'm not, nothing offensive, but we need to just make this neutral completely.
Absolutely.
Right?
And it's, I think the more experience you have, the easier it is to have that conversation.
Of course.
When I was a newer agent, I didn't want to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
But then it ended up eventually coming out. And so you're trying to help them, but you end up hurting them in the process if you're not honest up front.
Of course. So let's talk about the importance of professional photography when selling a home.
So the importance of that, everything's online now, number one. 20 years ago, before everything was online, it wasn't as big of a deal. You did a broker's open, people showed up at the broker's open, you did an open house, and there was no MLS and there was
Yeah.
MLS, but there was nothing online. There was no Zillow.
You
no
did have
General Scott.
you did have the big books with the flyers in there. though.
Yeah, that would be a big book, but
Yeah.
you didn't have extensive photos, so it wasn't as big of a deal back then when I was selling my first house. But it's important today. You want to have clear, crisp pictures, good angles, good lighting, making sure that you don't have glare coming through your windows, shooting at the right time of day. I see agents today with, and now I have the brand new iPhone, the really fancy one, and that takes fabulous photos, but I would never take listing pictures with it.
Of course.
And so, and we have all of our stuff photo edited. It's all done overseas and it comes back, and it's not even like just with my nice camera. So everything's taken with overexposure, underexposure, 7 photos sent off. Like we just did a shoot yesterday. There's 350 photos that got sent to Vietnam for photo editing. And
That's
they're back
crazy.
this evening. Yeah. So it's important to make sure that you have crisp, good imagery, good angles.
Yeah.
You don't want things to look pigeonholed or long and narrow and dark. And
Yeah.
it's really important.
So I've seen that this, technology is getting amazing, but far in between, you see these 3D tours, which are so cool because you can get kind of a feel of what it actually, like the layout, and when you're looking on it online, and I'm sure you're more enticed to check it out,
Absolutely.
and because you have a better feel for it. Why is that important, and what are the benefits of doing that?
Yeah, so we've been doing 3D tours for probably 4 or 5 years now. We actually purchased our own Matterport camera. That's the most common camera that you use for a 3D tour. You start on the lowest level of a home. Every 4 to 5 feet, it takes a 360-degree picture for the whole property, and you can go in closets, out of closets, everything, multiple floors. So literally,
Sweet.
I can go into a house and we link it to everything. So they can go in and they can walk through the whole house. They can run a cursor, or we can set it up where it automatically walk the person through the house. You can go vertical to, floor to ceiling. You can see everything, and the image qualities, I'm on my second camera, is really, really crystal clear. The other thing too, it'll do like a dollhouse imprint. So it'll show you how the house stacks on top of each other, and it'll also show you a floor plan of, looking straight down into it. You can hit a button and it'll zip you into a room. You can hit back out on the dollhouse and zip back out. But those can be seen internationally. We put those like on our Tour Factory website, our Zillow profile, everything. So then consumers can see that. And sometimes people buy, from out of the country, out of the state, but they can actually, and it's really easy for agents to, send that over to people and the consumers can see it.
Yeah, so cool with technology. So let's talk about the wide range of marketing that you do and the importance with that, Kim.
Yeah, so we start off, we do cinematic photography. We actually shoot a 2 to 3 minute actual video of our property as well. And we do Matterport on all of our properties. Everything is shot with professional photography. It's really important to have high speed photography. We also do high quality print materials, whether it's a 250 condo or a $2.5 million listing of mine. My print material is the same all the way through, so it's consistent branding for myself as well as a consumer.
Sure.
And if you do it all the time as an agent, you're not having to recreate all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I've got a $2 million listing. What am I going to do? A $1 million listing. Everything's the same. So it ends up being that my lower end properties end up getting much, much better quality than typical because I just keep it consistent throughout, what I would do on a luxury property as well. Social media is big, Instagram, Facebook. I've got not only my personal pages, but we can promote within a community. So in each community, you can do a radius search. Now, Facebook expanded. It's about a 10-mile radius search. So when your agent goes out and you're promoting your open house, all of your videos, landing pages, stuff like that, you can do an extensive search when it comes on the market and get more traffic driven to your listing as well.
Yeah.
So those are all things that are helping drive traffic.
That's fantastic. And you keep a theme, and unfortunately we're down to a minute, unfortunately, but one of the things that keeps coming up is international buyers, which is really cool. Obviously with that leverage, it can create a lot more power. Talk to us a little bit about your international buyers and how you connect with them.
Yeah, so we have a company. So a lot of our international buyers are typically here coming from India with like Microsoft or more in the tech industry, or China as been our primary driver of the market. GY is a website similar to Zillow in China because there's firewalls there. They're very particular on what information they let in and let out of there. So that's a website that I actually I do additional subscription to, so I can target all of my listings to those buyers in that market. This week I had a $500,000 and $1 million buyer from China that just from my extra stuff coming through GY. So it's just an extra service that I subscribe to. And then a lot of us brokers, Luxury Portfolio International, they have print and web. And if it's over $1 million in King County, automatically kind of gets swept over there anyway, or Pierce County. But those are just some additional avenues there that we kind of use to get those buyers.
That is awesome,
So
Kim.
cool,
And
yeah.
it's great to see a successful agent, what it takes to be successful, and all the extra things that you're doing to help your clients be successful, buyer or seller side. Thank you so much, Kim, for coming back in studio. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And coming up next, accelerate your business growth with Power. That's with a double R. Catherine White, Accelerated Results 365, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW after the short break.